Hey, what's up? It's Greg from Fishing Headquarters, and today is Sunday, November 19th. I'm up here on the north end of Long Beach Island, up here on the surf. Here to share an updated fish report with you folks for the Long Beach Island area. Right now, we've got a beautiful day. Breezy west winds, northwest winds, about 15 knots, maybe 10 to 15. And a big swell in the water. As you see behind me, there's big old ground swell in the water, about 4 to 6 foot range. Lots of long period energy on the beaches of LBI today. Right now we got a higher tide. It is dropping. I believe low tide is about 6:20. So it's going to be after sunset this afternoon. I did not hear any surf fishing reports, any catch reports today. I was out in a charter all morning, had some great fishing early morning. I had Carl Beyer aboard. He wanted to get out and do some light tackle striped bass fishing and also some fly fishing. And that's basically what we accomplished. Definitely a slower day compared to, say, the last few trips. A little sloppy out there too, big swell. Sometimes when you get the swell, it kind of spreads out the bait, spreads out the fish. But we did get on some good quality, fun striped bass fishing on light tackle early this morning. Got one on the fly, had a couple other good opportunities on the fly rod, but only got one bite. Maybe only spent maybe an hour attempting to fly, but it was definitely a little difficult with the wind. But Carl did his best and got a nice eat right along the boat side there. He did a great job. Also had some good quality fish, like I mentioned, on light tackle, casted some lures. Basically all my recent trips have been very, very good, offering some great quality fishing. Right now is kind of the best fishing that kind of Central Jersey coast gets each fall. Right now, here we are, mid-November. Couldn't ask for a better time to be fishing the beaches and the coastal waters of New Jersey. The Barnegat Bay has fish, and there's some fish in the bay, some fish by the bridges and bulkheads, still some striped bass in the inlet, and a whole bunch of striped bass migrating through in the coastal waters. Boat fishing has been best for sure. There have been times and places where some peanut bark getting pushed up on the beach. Heard some good reports out of Barnegat Light a couple days, heard some good reports down in Beach Haven, some reports mid-island as well. Tomorrow would be, if it was west, the third day of the west wind, which normally for me is a good one to remember. Always feel like the third day of the west wind surf fishing kicks off. I think it's gonna be a little more on the northerly side, but I think on the south end of LBI, say central and south end, maybe that little northerly angle might be almost like a north-northwest. Can also be like an offshore wind, so we'll see what happens, see how that plays out. If you are fishing the beach, I would suggest fishing some sand eel-like lures. I can share that there's definitely been a big change recently. The last couple days, I've found that a few days back, I had a lot of striped bass on bigger adult bunker. Then that transitioned into some peanut kind of action. Had a really good abundance of peanuts stacked up along the beaches for a number of mornings. Did good fishing some metal lips, some poppers, some spooks. Pencil poppers were one of my standout lures for sure. Also some rubber shad, some swim baits and such. No live bait needed. Definitely did me well. Some metal lips though, metal lip swimmers like a Danny, like Gibbs Danny. Also some custom woods. Had a blast on them. Also some twitch baits from Yazuri is one of my standouts as well. But more recently here, last couple trips, I feel that the striped bass are keyed in on sand eels. I noticed that some of the bigger birds have been switching over to some smaller birds. Some of the gannets are kind of fewer and far between, more so gulls and terns, and they're very active in picking on the sand eels. You'll see, if you're out in the boat, you'll see some scatter, some clutter, some fuzz in the bottom. Those would be the sand eels. Sometimes you'll see them elevated. A lot of times when the striped bass, game fish show up, they kind of beat up the bait and bring them up to the surface, and that's where you'll see the birds up top picking. Some boats kind of get kind of crazy in like an ADD kind of mode, kind of rush to go nowhere, driving all over each other, and that kind of ruins a bite pretty quick. I found doing some longer drifts, casting longer distances, say with 8-foot rod, not so common in the boat, but I like to fish 7.5, 8-foot rods in the boat, long cast lures around the boat, fan cast, covering all different areas. Once you see those fish pop up, most of the time you're dialed in to get right on them. Every once in a while I'll bump the boat a little bit to get a little momentum, kind of get going in a specific direction, try to work in that direction, keep in that direction, and start covering ground. Sometimes it's easier said than done, and on those days when they're spread out, trolling will prevail. I know today and also yesterday, day before, last 3 days here, this weekend, trollers did a number on them, got into some really good quality fish. They're banging on them pretty good there along Island Beach State Park and off of LBI, south end and north end. I can share there's a whole biomass of striped bass off the Red Tower. Just today I was off the Hardshipper's Lump. There was a whole big body of fish there. Very few boats. Up off Island Beach, a million boats. Seems like a lot of days that the whole Manasquan crowd's coming down. It can be pretty kind of hectic and wild, but that's kind of what you get this time of season. When those fish start sliding down, everybody kind of congregates and piles up in one area. But going back to the Sandio bite, diamond jigs, definitely a classic go-to lure, whether you're casting and retrieving them with a slow or a stop and go, or jigging them off bottom. I caught a nice striper today. I guess it was 36 inches on a diamond jig. Also, Hoagie Sandio jigs, definitely a great one. Soft baits as well. Definitely some soft baits would be a great Sandio imitation. You can twitch them up on the surface, or you put them on a lead head and twitch them on bottom, or fish mid-water column. Pencils, needles, Super Strike needlefish, phenomenal lure for me today. That's what I clipped on Carl's rod first, and that's what he caught a number of his striped bass on. To get more specific, a sinking needle. A sinking needlefish you can cast out. You can retrieve it quickly on the surface, especially in windy conditions. That will stay right on top. You could also fish a little slower, like a stop and go, and let that needlefish sink, kind of twitch it around under the surface, and then bring it back up to the surface, spit a couple times or splash a couple times, and then sink. Kind of a stop and go is up to the surface, let it kind of flutter down and swim, back up to the surface. I find that's very effective with needlefish, whether you're fishing off the beach, fishing in the boat, anywhere in between. So yeah, plenty of striped bass here right now. Prime time fishing. It's going to be prime time right to the end of the month. With how warm the waters are and the air and the kind of climate that we have right now, the weather patterns, I see fishing going right into the end of the year, hopefully into the new year. We'll see how that plays out. Today I had 54-degree water temperature. Most days I've been having 53 to 55-degree water temperatures. That's out of Barnegat Inlet, up along Island Beach State Park. Say I've been fishing up maybe about Pier, maybe a little north of Seaside Pier, all along Seaside, Island Beach State Park. And some days I'm also running down south out of Barnegat Inlet, since my boat's in Barnegat Light, and fishing all the way down to say Ship Bottom and say Harvey Cedars, Surf City area, so Mid-Island, LBI. Wind just kind of started gusting a little more out of the south here, kind of blowing in my face. So I'm going to spin around, hopefully it doesn't affect the audio too much. Share with you guys a little bit of the surf action. Like I mentioned, west winds, big groundswell on the beaches right now, and that's going to, I believe, linger in throughout the week. I saw tomorrow, that is Monday, still saw 3 to 4 foot groundswell. And I see even, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, still more groundswell in the forecast. So be on the lookout for that. I know today, if you were heading out Barnegat Inlet and you went straight east over, say, out the inlet to the main channel markers, went through the bar, you definitely probably got into some hazardous conditions. It's definitely not the place to be, but I'll just share that there'll be a big swell lasting for a few more days, and I strongly suggest paying attention to the outgoing tides. Outgoing tide in the inlet will be on the more gnarly side, definitely rougher side, bumpy, hazardous. As you can see, there's a very large energy still in the water right now, and it's going to stick around, like I mentioned, for a couple days. I can mention, I didn't say that, Tog opened up on the 16th. That's 5 fish right now. Barnegat Inlet rocks, the jetty there, Barnegat State Park, has been great all season. It's still cranking at all cylinders, as I mentioned in my previous report. Definitely be on the decline. I think the prime time fishing is either now or just happened. You should have good fishing for the next couple weeks though. Once that water gets cold, once the air starts getting really, really cold, a lot of times the hard northwesterlies is tough to fish there because the wind's in your face. Normally that fishing kind of starts dwindling down, but we'll see how that goes. There's still some great quality fishing taking place right now. Fishing, whether it's a jig or rig, green crabs, live sand fleas, those would be your 2 best baits. Tog fishing is a ton of fun. Get up there and get into that action. Right now you can actually put a solid catch together and some keepers, like I mentioned. 5 fish bag limit, 15-inch minimum size. Just to update on the striped bass, it is the same exact slot that it's been. It's the micro slot, 28 to 31 inches, 1 fish a person. Hopefully you get out there, you throw some lures off the beach. Maybe it's an SP minnow, maybe it's a diamond jig, maybe it's a Super Strike popper or a Super Strike needlefish. Those would be my 4 go-tos right now. Maybe if you want to throw a bucktail in there as well. I know Joe Hanley had a beautiful striped bass just a day or so ago off the surf fishing a yellow and white Super Strike popper. I can also share that he also had a redfish. I shared that on our Instagram page. Hopefully you guys follow us on Facebook and Instagram now and throughout the entire season. And be sure to check out fishinglbi.com. That's Fish Report blog that I've been publishing for well over a decade or more. Try to get you guys up to date, keep you in the loop here throughout the entire season. If you guys are looking for any tips and tricks, need some help, need some tackle, stop by Fisherman's Headquarters located in Ship Bottom at the entrance to Long Beach Island Love to help you get geared up and in on the fishing action right now as it's hot here on Long Beach Island. Once again, it's Greg at Fisherman's Headquarters. Have a great day.